Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live Extravaganza. We've been waiting a long time to have this event, and we are so thrilled. I see lots and lots of people in the audience. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. What a special session we have for you today to celebrate the end of 2020, which I'm sure everyone can say was a very long and interesting year for most. A lot of ups and downs, and we've really found a lot of things still to celebrate here at MyHeritage. We have a fantastic session with a really incredible lineup today. So thank you everyone for joining us. If you haven't yet, please let us know where you're joining us from. I see a lot of people, and we really love to see where in the world you are. So please do write and let us know. In addition to a fantastic lineup of experts in the world of genealogy and DNA, we will also be giving away 3 incredible prizes today to our viewers, and that is the MyHeritage Complete Plan, the best plan we have to offer at MyHeritage, with unlimited access to 12.7 billion historical records, unlimited family tree size, unlimited access to the MyHeritage photo tools, that's the MyHeritage Photo Enhancer, and MyHeritage in Color. So we'll be giving away 1 complete plan. We'll be giving away 1 gift subscription. The end of the year, the holidays, is really a great time for giving. So 1 lucky winner will be able to gift a MyHeritage Complete Plan to somebody that they would like to help jumpstart their family history journey. And we will also be giving away a MyHeritage DNA kit. So in order to enter today's draw, all that you have to do is leave a question for one of our speakers today, and you can do that in the comment section. Just let us know first who the question is for, and then write your question, and we'll be taking questions at the end. And if you don't have a question, that's okay. You can still enter in the draw. All that you have to do is let us know how MyHeritage has helped you over 2020. It's a great time now. This whole show is going to be about reflecting back on the year that was, whether it's for your genealogy research, your genetic genealogy research, or how you've used MyHeritage. So let us know in the comments how MyHeritage has helped you with your family history. We really would like to hear, and you'll be entered in the draw at the end of today's session. So now we get to the really fun part, where we get to see who's joining us today, who are all these incredible guests. So I'm going to be introducing the first speaker. And our first speaker today is Daniel Horowitz. Daniel has been dedicated to genealogy since he was a little kid. And according to him, that was a long time ago. Now Daniel does genealogy 24/7 with all the joy and pleasure, even in his sleep. He was born in Venezuela. He's traveled around the world multiple times to spread his knowledge and teach others, and he's always ready to jump on a call, a lecture, a webinar, or a Facebook Live to teach everybody about their family history. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esther. And hello, everybody. Thank you for being here with us today. Yeah, you just name it, and I will be there. I will be more than happy to spread the genealogy knowledge and to meet other genealogists. Sometimes I also even learn from you as well. Okay, and this is really special. When Esther invited me with this idea, I said definitely yes, because for a long time we have not been able to be together in genealogy conferences. So this Facebook Live is going to be more or less a friends reunion, although we have already meet here and there virtually, of course, in the last couple of weeks. But now it's my time to introduce a crazy mohawk wearing advocate for genealogy, who is always looking at family history from a different angle and sharing his finds with others. He is the one and only Thomas McIntyre from this windy city of Chicago.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Yes, where many are cold, but few are frozen. So thank you, mi amigo, para esta introducción. That's about the extent of my Spanish today. Hello, everyone from Chicago, the third coast, where many are cold, but few are frozen. I love these Facebook Live sessions. In fact, there's a blog post today that Esther put out recounting everything, all the Facebook Lives since the start of the year. And I'm amazed at not only how many I did, but how much information is out there. So now it is my pleasure to introduce, oh, I love me some Roberta Estes, let me tell you that. Roberta hails from the States, where she is owned by 3 cats and several thousand pesky ancestors who've been causing trouble now for some centuries. After several wars and courthouses burning the records she desperately needs, she figured the only way she's ever going to sort this out is using DNA. She thought she'd be at the ends of all those lines by now, but the great thing is that DNA can break down walls when there aren't traditional records. She's now planning to live to be at least 150. My friend, Roberta Estes. Esther, are you there? Okay.
Oh,
Did you hear me or not?
yes. Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you hear me do the intro or not?
Yes, but it looks like we've lost Roberta, so no
sorry.
worries.
Do you need me to do it? Do you need me to do it again?
No, we're
Okay.
good. And
Okay.
we're good.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We've lost Roberta, but that is okay. She will be joining us soon. And I will be introducing our next speaker. Hailing from Provo, Utah is our multi-talented genealogist, James Tanner, an attorney, techie, teacher, researcher, photographer, writer, and of course, genealogist for many, many years. His many projects leave many people wondering, does he ever sleep? And I see that this is actually quite the theme between all of the genealogists. They never find time to sleep. Welcome, James. How are you?
I'm just great. Thanks. So I'd like to say hello to everybody out there. It's nice and cool here in Provo today, about 18 degrees. Started out this morning, so we're looking out at snow on the ground, and it's a nice time of year. And like with many others, I'm probably relieved to have this year sort of pass, and maybe we get on to another one. Really missing the opportunity to mingle with all the people and all the genealogists around the country and around the world. And I've been asked, and I feel it a pleasure to introduce my friend for many years, actually goes back to some of her early years. And I'm happy to introduce the woman who produces the Genealogy Gems podcast and the Family Tree magazine podcast. And she writes Lisa's Picks column for the Family Tree magazine, teaches for Family Tree University, and produces the popular weekly YouTube live show called Elevenses. And Elevenses with Lisa. And she seems to spend every waking minute on genealogy, and I think both of us stay up all the time, but I'm not sure how much time she actually gets to sleep. And here, wide awake, is Lisa, Louise Cook.
Thank you so much, James. It's so true. I don't know. Although we're sleeping a little bit more because we're not traveling as much as we used to.
Oh, well, we have more time to do the things that we want to do.
Exactly. Well, it's such a pleasure to be here. Wonderful to see everybody here. Gosh, I've done some of these Facebook Lives with My Heritage before. We've had so much fun. So this is just a double treat because I get to visit with all my friends and with all of you here. And it's a huge honor and a treat to introduce you to one of my dearest friends. It's very much my pleasure to introduce the founder of Your DNA Guide. She's the author of the book, Your DNA Guide, the book, which is really the book on DNA. And she just launched your DNA guide, the Academy. Got to find out about this. It's an interactive workshop experience. And I'm going to tell you something a little special about her that you might not know. I can personally attest to the fact that she is an expert on cartwheels. Oh, yeah. This woman's got many talented attributes. My friend, Diane Southard.
Thank you, Lisa. I did not know that you had that video. That was a great addition.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I have the pleasure of introducing my dear friend, Maureen Taylor. She is the Nancy Drew of Photo Clues, and she calls herself the Photo Detective. My friend Maureen has been at the forefront of genealogy for many years, helping families find their ancestors. And guys, she was in the Wall Street Journal. Let me just tell you a secret. My secret wish is to be the graphic designer for the Wall Street Journal, make their little infographics. They're amazing. Maureen's already been in the Wall Street Journal. They called her the nation's foremost historical photo detective, if you can believe that. She hosts a weekly podcast that just reached 100,000 downloads. Good job, Maureen. I did not know that. She's published numerous books and articles, and while she's not saving the world one photo at a time, she can be found residing in Providence, Rhode Island with her family and 2 dogs. She loves exploring and sharing the history of her little state.
I see that we're having a technical issue and we only see Lisa. Sorry about this. I see that we don't see Diane yet. One moment, just let's try and work this out. There we go.
Hi, Diane.
there?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So great to see everyone, and it's great to be on another Facebook Live with My Heritage. So thank you very much for including me in this end of the year extravaganza. Can't wait to see what we all have in store for today. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so a few technical difficulties just getting everyone on screen, but I think we have everybody here and we are just so thrilled to have you all. So thank you to all of our guests for joining us and for introducing yourself. It's great seeing you. And we're going to start now with our genealogy panel. So let me just get our guests for genealogy, that's Thomas and James, up on the screen here. One moment, just getting everyone in here. Takes just a moment. Oh, I don't see Thomas. Thomas, are you there? Perhaps, oh, he's just rejoining. There we go. Okay, great. So we're going to be reflecting on the year that was in genealogy in general, genealogy in general. And so I'm going to just ask you both a few questions and share with all of us your reflections on the past year. So we'll start with you, Thomas. How has 2020 changed the genealogy community?
Well, I think we have to be upfront and say COVID has changed the genealogy community, just like almost every aspect of life in 2020. And who knew that people would be at home for several months and wanting to do genealogy? It is a literal gold mine. Anyone, any firm, any person that is not taking advantage of this is crazy. I think that's the biggest thing right now. And people are scrambling. They want to know how to find records. They want to know how to handle their family photos. And that's why I love it that My Heritage came up with the photo tools this year. Because it's a perfect match for what's going on right now.
Okay, and James, what genealogy advice would you give yourself last year?
Okay, so basically over the last 30 plus years, almost 40 years now, I have been accumulating literally millions of pages of documents and records. And I really needed to spend more time. And I actually began to get started during this time period because
Wow.
a little extra bit of time that I gained from not traveling so much and things like that. But I still have to classify, tag, share, and include the thousands of record matches I have on MyHeritage, and the DNA matches, and the thousands of other smart matches. All these kinds of things are just accumulating faster than I can possibly handle them. So this is kind of be my focus from now on, I suppose, in trying to at least make a dent in that. And I find almost immediately that as soon as I direct my attention at the individuals in my family tree, I find more records. So I never get ahead.
The job is never done.
I'm always playing catch up here. So it's kind of a really interesting situation.
Wow, incredible. So you'll take that lesson of spending more time on that important work, I guess, into 2021.
Absolutely.
Incredible. Thomas, what are you looking forward to for MyHeritage as we enter into 2021?
Well, I'm always looking for new record sets and free access, but still, I've been busy, just like James said, with all of the photos, tagging. There's more than just uploading photos. People need to know that it's a great tool to enhance the photos, colorize the photos, but you really need to make those photos work for you on MyHeritage. So you should be tagging them, linking them to people in your tree. That way you're going to get more mileage out of them. So that's really what I'm looking for.
Incredible. Incredible. Well, anything else that either of you have to add, reflections on the past year or going forward, the genealogy world in general, where we're going from here?
Sure, I can. Am I back on? Good. One of the things I think that's really been overwhelming is the expansion of the digital record collections. Like Thomas said, we'd like to see more. We're always asking for more, but there's just a tremendous number of records online now. And I think that the innovations on the photographs and the memories and the mapping, all of those have been extraordinary. I like the idea of expanding the ways to share data between the different family tree programs. I think that's something that needs to increase. We're having, we're getting locked into kind of different countries, actually, segments, and we need to be able to share that data back and forth. I think that the expansion of the DNA groups introduced on MyHeritage this past week, I've had a chance to start to go through and look at that a little bit, and it is just amazing. What I think as that focuses in even more, and I understand that's the what they're working on at MyHeritage to even actually make that more focused, it will open up whole new avenues for people to start to become related and understand and cooperate. And then I think the last thing that I'd really think would be important is to have more connections, like the expansion of the theory of family relativity that we see, just progressing, because this allows us to not only see who we're related to, which is interesting at some level, but unless you actually see those people going back. And what I see the biggest problem out there, and I started this when I started looking at some of my Australian relatives, was that very few of them have family trees. And so I think a real challenge for everyone in the genealogical community is to get the people who have now done DNA tests to actually start to do genealogy and put their family trees up. A DNA test tells me we're related, but a family tree tells me how we're related and who we're related to. And that's what's important.
So true, so true. And just about the historical records, the digitized collections, definitely something that we are always working on. I think the number is 2.15 billion records that we've added over 2020. And we are always sourcing new records and new collections to add, making things more accessible and available to our users. So something that we are definitely going to focus on as well in 2021. Anything to add, Thomas?
No, the only thing that I want to point out that I've really been enjoying, the city directories, which is one of the biggest collections, has a way for you to see who else lived at that address. Yeah. It's one of those little known things that I wish it just blows my mind. It's because you guys are indexing that address and the way you're indexing it. And I think it's unique to MyHeritage. And I can't tell you how many times that has saved me on my research.
So incredible. And it's so
lots
funny
of
because
helpful.
James mentioned the city directories quite extensively in our Facebook Live that we had last week. Really a fantastic collection. And I think that came out just at the beginning of this year, just earlier in 2020. So definitely something, definitely a milestone for 2020 at MyHeritage for sure. Incredible. Well, thank you both. And we're going to move on to the next panel. And hopefully we'll see you again later when there are some questions.
Okay.
Great.
Yep.
So now I'm going to bring on Daniel. Daniel's going to be the host for our DNA panel. And I'm going to bring on our guests for the DNA panel. And that is Diane Southard and Roberta Estes. Let's see if we can get everyone on with video.
Yes, we're all here. Hi, Roberta. Did you hear your introduction before?
I did.
Okay. Just to make extra sure. And again, I'm very excited to be here with all my friends, with all of you, and especially hearing your comments and your answers from all of you, Thomas, James, and very soon, Maureen as well, and Lisa. And because, again, what you are thinking and what you're wishing is what we're trying to do and we're trying to achieve during all this year, and we're planning for next year. And I'm just very grateful that I can work in a company that it's really pleasing people with their desires and helping them to find their relatives. And one of the ways, which I never thought, by the way, that it will be used to do genealogy, is DNA. And I was very bad with biology back in school, and now I need to learn how to do all this. But thanks God, I have very good teachers, both in MyHeritage and both of you, Diane and Roberta. And we have a lot of questions from people coming in the chat, but we have two questions here first that I would like to answer, and would like to start with Diane. What were the best advances in genetics genealogy and on MyHeritage, if there is any difference that I don't know, in this year 2020?
Well, I think they already hit on it in that first session. Certainly the best advancement in genetic genealogy at MyHeritage was your new groups edition. Did I mention how excited I was that you finally launched that after all this waiting? And it was worth waiting for. I will definitely admit that, but it has been incredible. I've heard from a lot of people already who read my blog or saw my social media post, and they're excited. And it's just such an essential addition to a DNA product to be able to tell people where you come from recently, not just thousands of years ago, but in that, what I call the sweet spot of genealogy, that last 200 years. So that's by far, hands down, the most exciting thing that's happened this year. But I think it's also just been exciting, as Thomas mentioned, that so many more people are becoming genealogists this year. They're finding they have time at home and their computer still works, so they're limited in their hobbies. And I know that that means that there is an uptick in the people who are interested in the DNA test they've already taken. And I'm excited about that trend that 2021 will certainly carry with us, I hope.
What I'm noticing, and I don't know if you have noticed it also, is that we're combining like the two groups. There's a bunch of people doing DNA testing for other reasons and then becoming genealogists or building family trees. And all the other guys like us that forever we build genealogy trees, now we are taking DNA tests and trying to find our relatives through that. Roberta, what issues did the DNA or genetic genealogy world deal with during this 2020?
Well, you know, I'm reminded of that Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times, because
More than these ones? Come on.
That is 2020. So it's been a challenge for all of us for so many reasons. We can't go to conferences, we can't see each other in person. And so we've all been challenged to do things in different ways. And the hardest thing for humans is to change. That's the single hardest thing for humans to do. So behind the scenes, we've all been running around and struggling and figuring out how to do all these kind of things. But what's been going on, the rest of the industry, if you will, is it's like that blessing curse thing. So the blessing is that there's a ton more people who are asking questions, and they're asking beginner questions, and they're really confused, and they have the wrong idea about things, and it's so frustrating. But there's so much opportunity there, because those are the people we need to have interested. We need to guide them to write articles, to write blog posts, to give webinars, to do those things to help those people either become better genealogists because they DNA tested, or to DNA test because they're now dabbling in genealogy because they're confined at home in this room and they're going stark raving crazy. So that's that interesting time thing, because we're all struggling and people are kind of grouchy sometimes. But the blessing is there's so many more people. And you know what? Some vendors, not MyHeritage, and I'm really grateful for that, have addressed the fact that there's more people by doing things like taking away matches. And it's just heartbreaking for me. That's a real challenge, because some of those distant matches are the ones we need so desperately to push us back in time if you're a seasoned genealogist. And MyHeritage has added these great tools, and it's combining the resources of multiple tools together. And I think that's the blessing in all of this, is that it's been painful to be pushed. No one's enjoyed this. But I think as we come out the other side, we'll have better tools, we'll have more people, we'll have more interest, we'll have more trees, we'll have more people DNA testing. And personally, as I've looked back this year, I've met people that I would never have met if they weren't confined at home. They found my blog, my articles, my 52 ancestors, whatever it is. They emailed me or messaged me or whatever. And one of them provided me, I thought I was doing something for them, and they provided me with a huge gift. So, since this is all kind of in the mix, and that interesting times thing is, it's just so true. I've laughed so many times about it.
What you're saying is that the more the merrier, and I totally agree with you, and that from challenges, only good things will come. And I also totally agree with you. I remember just it was 9 months ago, we went to our last genealogy conference, and 3 months after that, people started to do webinars and Facebook Live, and everybody went on Zoom. And yes, and I remember back at the company, don't tell this to anybody, they said, well, our target audience is not the youngest out there. Will they be able to? Well, they were the first ones to be 2, 3, and 4 times a week hearing lectures and learning more and more this year. But Diane, I'm pretty sure that we will still have barriers during 2021. Can you guess a few of them? What do you think will be?
Well, I think there are 2, and they're not new barriers, but continuing barriers. Roberta kind of highlighted one, is that we're getting this wonderful, fabulous influx of new people into our industry, both in the genetic genealogy and just regular genealogy sides. And so I think we, as maybe more seasoned participants in this field, need to be ambassadors. We need to be educators, and we need to be open, and we need to be sharing. And we can't get frustrated with our DNA matches who aren't posting trees. They don't know how. They don't know what a tree is, right? We have to be patient, and we have to teach them and lead the way. And the second barrier is just we need more international people tested. And I think MyHeritage does a really good job of that. No company posts like how many people are testing from which country, which I think would be so fabulous. But I get a feel while I look at my match lists that at MyHeritage, I do have a lot of international matches that I don't have at other companies. And that's what's really needed for most of us to push back our lines. But essentially, I've also seen as new people are coming in, they're coming in from the UK and they're coming in from Italy, and they're trying to do the things I'm teaching, but they can't because they have no matches. And so they understand the technique and they're trying to apply it, but they can't because there just isn't the volume of people that we US people have. So I really would love to see a real concentrated international effort in DNA testing.
You have no idea why I'm laughing, and probably other people hearing this Facebook Live is laughing with me because you're totally right. And a lot of people are telling me again, Daniel, let's do a genealogy course, basic for new people. I said, another basic? Come on, how many basic courses you can do?
Yes.
Well, it seems that there is never enough.
Never enough.
And we're hearing, we're cooking. Diane, you already said what you will wish, and I hope MyHeritage will be able very soon to please you. Roberta, what about you? What do you hope to see in MyHeritage over the next year?
So Daniel, you should know better than to give me an opportunity like that.
Oh, you have multiple opportunities like that.
I have a list.
What, is only that one page, or it's both sides?
Oh no, I have it some more.
Okay.
Those are the things. The second list is the things I thought about after I typed the first list.
Well, you make sure to let it make that to us. But you have now 2 shots. What would you say?
Now you're constraining me. No fair. So the thing I love about MyHeritage is the fact that not only do we have the records and the things all tied together, the records and the other trees and with the theories of family relativity and the DNA. I love all that. That is the key to making these connections. But what I really like to see is more integration. Like I love the clusters, the auto clusters. Well, you can tie that easily in with triangulation. So I want to see on the auto clusters, not just who are matched in that cluster, but who is triangulated in that cluster. And I'd also like to see some things like being able to search and filter a little differently, like filter by the genetic communities. And I'd like to be able to search my DNA match list by an ancestor name, not just the surname, but by, because the surname Cook or Jones or Smith is not useful. You're going to get thousands. But, if you're looking for Clayton Cook, that's a whole different search. And so I think there's some things that might be able to be done pretty easily because you're already using that technology that would really make a difference to the genealogists out there and allow us to use all those different pieces of information that you so generously provide to us even better. And I have one final thing.
Those are your 2 things?
I know. So I have 3.
Only 2 things?
This is my 2. I think the time is right to push for tools beyond what we have. So not just confirming ancestors and finding common ancestors, but the tools to find the ancestors for which there is no paper trail. And I think that in this industry, we are now to the point where we can do this. We can move beyond what we can do. And I see Diane thinking over there, and I bet she's thinking the same thing I am. And this isn't the place to go into details, but I think we're there. And MyHeritage has all the pieces and parts to do it. And we just have to.
There you have it. That's food for thoughts for Gilad and for Ran. And I'm pretty sure that that food is already in their plate. They just need to put it into little bites. But yes, thank you very much for being here with us. It's really a pleasure, and there is a huge amount of comments and questions. I think that we will be spending the rest of the day, if not the weekend, going over all those comments and questions. For sure, we're not going to be able to answer all of them. But there is also answers in the knowledge base of MyHeritage. So you can, after this, go to education.myheritage.com and look for the answers over there to your questions and learn more about genealogy. So now, Esther, I think you have another two wonderful guests for this Facebook Live.
That's right, Daniel. So now we're going to go to our next session. We'll see you soon, Daniel. Thank you for moderating that panel for us. And this is also another super, super exciting area that we really have worked really hard on improving and creating new tools and features for at MyHeritage over this past year. A really exciting year for photos at MyHeritage. I'm going to introduce our two special guests for the photos panel. Oh, let me just rearrange that a little. There we go. So great to see you, Lisa and Maureen. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you both for joining us. And what a year for photos, 2020. Really, really incredible. I think we have a lot to talk about. So I'll jump right in with a question for Maureen. What new skills did you learn over this past year, over 2020, a really interesting, challenging year?
Yes, what a year like no other, for sure. So as far as like new skills, I think, I was already doing digital education or offering it, but I really boosted opportunities. We did some show and tells so people could share their photos and their stories. I expanded my podcast weekly. If you have a topic about photos, then I want to talk to you for the podcast. I even expanded to the sort of young people's social media, which is TikTok, which my daughter said, "Oh my God, that's so embarrassing, Mom." But I'm doing it anyway because it's fun and new, and why not? God, what else? As far going to virtual conferences on photography, things that I've never been able to attend, and picking up a new camera so that I can do photography as a hobby as well. I mean, I'm a little obsessed with the picture stuff, I think, just a little bit. And working on my mom's French Canadian line. So I'm brushing up on all that high school French that I never did do well on the first time around. So we'll see. It's been a big year. A lot of things going on. A lot of new things to learn.
A lot of things, yeah. And it's so funny that you talk about trying out all these new virtual technologies, and I see so many of the comments here in the comments of this Facebook Live. Just so many of them are saying that just the accessibility of all these sessions, the webinars, the Facebook Lives that we've been doing. Daniel's been doing an Ask the Expert series throughout the year, which has just been so successful. And they're just so appreciated. It really makes us all feel just a little bit closer to one another. And it's just such a nice feeling that everyone is able to join these sessions and take away from them and learn from them.
And they're so much fun because you actually get to know people. It's just, I think, as negative as this year has been for so many, the positive is I feel a lot closer to my photo community through all these virtual things that we're all doing. And especially through the stuff that MyHeritage is doing, but we'll talk about that later.
I was saying that I feel like this event, this whole extravaganza, this space, I feel like I'm talking with friends, and it's so nice to have all of you here because I also feel like we've really gotten a lot closer over this year. Every talk, every Facebook Live that we've all done together, just so great. So Lisa, I have a question for you. What's the most important lesson that you learned over this past year?
Well, gosh, there's been a lot of them, haven't they? I mean, it's amazing what some downtime will do. just in the last couple of weeks, I think for me, of course, I don't think it's a new lesson, but it's a reinforcement of a lesson, which is that family always comes first. It comes before everything. I have 3 daughters. My middle daughter was in a really terrible, serious accident a couple of weeks ago, and we're taking care of her here at home full time, and she's got many, many weeks ahead of her. And that just reminds us that it's really the living people today. And she and I have been having chances to talk a little bit more about family history, which we don't get much of a chance to do, even though she's in a hospital bed in a sling, so it's, she's a captive audience, I should say. She's very good natured about it. But, what's amazing for me too, was the first week I learned how to do YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And my heritage invited me to do some of them. I had so much fun doing that. I started my own show about a week into COVID, and I'm doing a YouTube Live series, which again has got us back to the people, right? And being able to talk. And we have the live chat like we have today in this one. That's just been amazing. I feel like it's drawn me so much closer to the folks who follow my work. I've been doing the podcast for 14 years, but having a live show on YouTube, I'm so thrilled to see genealogists taking advantage of YouTube and Facebook and the live events, because video just adds the other dimension, which brings us to photographs. One of the things I've been talking about on my live show is I shared early on when the colorization came out at MyHeritage, and then the enhancement tools, and everybody was just amazingly excited. And so for me personally, what I've been doing is using these tools to kind of create all kinds of new projects. And I've been sharing the projects on my show. I did a massive poster. I redesigned my family room into a music room back in March, April, and did this massive poster from a colorized enhanced photo. And then I did a series of photos, and I loved using the colorization tool to kind of make the series of photos on the wall kind of uniform. And they had such a unique color to them. And when family or friends come over and see them, it's a huge conversation starter. So it's all about, making time for real people and having real conversations and sharing what we learned both here virtually, but also in person. So it's been quite a roller coaster year, but a good one.
Wow. Well, we wish your daughter a full recovery, speedy recovery, and a lot of special moments with family over 2021. So Maureen, what do you think is the best thing that happened in the world of photos over 2020? I'm sure that Lisa already covered some of them.
Yeah, we've covered some of them, but I would like to say that, certainly the MyHeritage enhancement and colorization tools. I mean, who knew that was possible and that was so accessible to people? It reminds me of when all these photographs from the 1960s, the colors started shifting, and the common thought in the sort of curatorial world was that, well, there was nothing that could be done. You should toss them. And for a long time, it was, oh, you have this really blurry photo that's not really worth anything. But with these tools, you're really bringing the images back to life and giving people a way to really look at the images. So I would say the most important thing coming out of 2020 is this is the year that everyone sort of decided that they were home, and the one project they were going to work on, what all those boxes of family photographs and family documents they had tucked into their closets and they didn't know what to do with. This is the year they dragged them all out and started working on them, colorizing them, enhancing them. The MyHeritage photo dashboard has tools that I'm not sure people really know how to use, and I've been talking about those on TikTok. The permalinks for sharing and collaborating. What else? Good. The ways you can share images. I personally, like Lisa, have been turning my family photographs into gifts for family. My mom is still with us. She's 91, and one of those people that sort of walked away, and I gave her a whole bunch of images to put on her wall at her house. And she called me up and she was like in tears, and she said, "This is the best present I've ever gotten." She goes, there you
Aw.
are with your baby sister, and here are my parents. And, she was just over the moon. So I think this is the year of the photo for my people and for my heritage. I'm looking forward to seeing what else you come up with. I think it's one of those things where it's going to be like, really? What? You can do that too? You guys are the master of that sort of pictorial technology. And of all the big companies that work with family history, MyHeritage has the most wide-ranging group of tools to really tell those photo stories. So I'm waiting for 2021 on many levels, but the photo level for sure.
Incredible, incredible. So for anyone who hasn't tried them, the MyHeritage Photo Enhancer and MyHeritage in Color, both incredible tools. And I mean, the feedback has just been outstanding. It's been phenomenal. People that say that they were just moved to tears after seeing photos colorized and enhanced, seeing details that they never noticed before in their photographs. One of my favorite stories that we had was a user who wrote us, and he said that he colorized and I think it might have been before the enhancer came out, so it might have just been colorized. He colorized his parents' wedding photo album, and it was their 65th wedding anniversary, and they were in quarantine, and he colorized their whole wedding album and made them a brand new one in color and left it at their door. Just for their wedding anniversary, and it was just such a touching story. And there were just so many. It was amazing to see how many people the products touched. How it just brought them into genealogy, made them feel so close to their ancestors, seeing them in a different light. Really, really incredible.
And let's hope more people add those photographs to their MyHeritage trees for those instant discoveries, because then you'll find other photographs of people that maybe you didn't know there were pictures of. I think the photo aspect, DNA is great. I'm like Daniel, not a biologist in any way, so I really struggle with that science, but the pictures communicate in a way nothing else does. It's a visceral connection to your ancestors, and that's the hook for everything else with family history.
And I love tech tools, and the fact that you look at a tech tool like this and you realize it doesn't have to just be photographs.
Right.
I did it with the colorization, but when the enhancer came out, I took my genealogical documents, some of the ones that were a little blurry from the first time I scanned them or I got them from somebody else. If anybody watching this is having some trouble with a particular genealogical document, nothing says you can't take that digital image and run it through the photo enhancer as well. You might be able to see things that you couldn't see before.
Such good advice. So true. So true. And I know we have a lot on our product roadmap for 2021 for photos. So I know everyone is going to be even more excited when these new features roll out. But not knowing what they are, Lisa, what new features do you hope to see for 2021 on MyHeritage? What's on your wish list?
Oh, yeah, I'm with Roberta. I have a big long list here, but I will control myself and I will do just two. I think something that I've been working on personally is I've been adding captions and the names on some video. I think when it comes to photos, you guys are in the perfect position to help us do some creative and a little bit flexible captioning of photographs. So these would be integrated actually onto the photo. And maybe we'd have a couple of different font options, maybe the ability just to move that name so it can nicely fit and not cover up something important in the photo, but be able to say, this is Grandma, Alfreda Burkett, my grandmother, or be able to put the year in the corner. Just, you guys did such a beautiful job of notating through the little icons with the colorization tool. Hey, this has been colorized, right? So there's a little color wheel. So we know that it's just one more step to get a little bit of text, a little bit of dating onto the photo. So if we print them out, it's already done. And I think my second thing would be, of course, we've got multiple photos on MyHeritage. How about a little slideshow generator tool? So you can select which photos, drop them in an order, and run them through on a slideshow that, because as Maureen was saying, you touch people with pictures, and that's where the conversations come from. That's where the connections come from. That's how you help somebody who doesn't know why in the world you're doing genealogy in the first place. It's a way of communicating why we do it, because it's real people, and their story is part of our story. So if we could have a little mini slideshow of some of these wonderful photos and be able to pop that onto Facebook or Instagram. I love spending time on Instagram. I just think that would be an eye catcher and a conversation starter with all the other people that we need to convert to genealogy.
Great ideas. And we hope to see some really, really exciting things in the world of photos in 2021. If you thought we can't, up our game after 2020.
I have no doubt.
A lot coming. As you know, innovation is definitely in our DNA at MyHeritage. So a lot is in the works, and we hope to introduce stuff throughout the coming year. So very, very exciting things coming. Thank you both. Such great reflections, and so great to hear these ideas and stories of what's been going on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Esther. And good to see you, Maureen.
Good to see you, Lisa.
So I'm gonna close this session now, and we're going to go to questions. So I know that we have a lot of different guests in a lot of different areas. We'll try and take maybe a question from each subject for each of our guests. For anyone who has joined late, no worries, not to fear. You can go back and watch this Facebook Live on the MyHeritage Facebook page, facebook.com/MyHeritage under the video section, as well as all of our Facebook Lives that we've done over the past year. We've done just so many. I think it's around 200 Facebook Lives that we've done in all different languages at MyHeritage. We've done them on the various Facebook pages, most in English, but a lot also in other languages. So definitely a lot of good resources there for you to check out. And for anyone who is just joining now, we'll also be giving away at the end of today's session one complete plan, one MyHeritage gift subscription for you to give as a gift to one lucky family or friend, and also one DNA kit. So stay tuned for that. So now we'll just be taking some questions. The first, it's going to take me a little bit just to get the right guest onto the screen as we're asking the question, so bear with me. The first question that we have is for Diane. Diane, are you there? Oh, let's see if we can get Diane onto the stream here. There we go. How are you?
Good.
Okay, great. So we have a question for you. Let's see. Let's see, my husband finally has a close match for an unknown biological father on his unknown biological father's sides. What are the odds that a 1290 centimorgan over 39 segments is a half sister versus a first cousin?
Good question. So as you have obviously understood, the number of shared centimorgans doesn't equal just one relationship, right? There's a lot of different relationships that can equal the same amount of DNA. And of course, you found yourself an ambiguous match, which means it's an amount of DNA that is in that kind of gray area. So the thing that I always recommend is to try to look at all the other clues that might be surrounding that match. So one great thing about MyHeritage is they often list the age of the person that's there, because in addition to the two relationships you listed, there are some others that would put that match on a different generation. So if that match is much older or much younger, then that person could be removed from you. So in that kind of half aunt uncle kind of category. So that's something that you need to check out as well. But if they're on the same generation, then you're right. It's either a half sib or it's a first cousin. And without knowing more about the family tree, it's really hard to kind of tell the difference. You can use shared matches to see who else is being pulled in, and there are probably some clues there. But I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head, and you're just in that gray area where DNA is not enough. And DNA is actually never enough to tell you what a relationship is. There's always has to be more information. And in your case, without it, you're kind of left not knowing for right now. But it's definitely something you can figure out. You just have to have more matches.
Okay, great. While we're on the topic of DNA, I'm just going to bring up Roberta. Roberta, we have a question for you, if that's okay. The question is from Carol, and she asks, please explain the new genetic groups at MyHeritage. I haven't experienced them yet.
Well, genetic groups at MyHeritage are a really great innovation, because what MyHeritage did is they took all their customers and they basically clustered them. They made a huge cluster groups, and they said, okay, these people all cluster together and in terms of matching. Why is that? And then, so they said, is this a location? Is this are they all Jewish? Are they all from Poland? So what they've done is ethnicity gives you a very broad region. And so what they've done is they've taken additional information in terms of commonalities of these groups of people that cluster together genetically to say, why are they alike? And there's a threshold. And so then they went through and they used artificial intelligence to look at trees. And they said, oh, okay, so these people all cluster together, and some large amount of these people have an ancestor that have trees, have an ancestor from Friesland in the Netherlands. And this is my case. And Friesland is like, 40 miles by 40 miles. It's not big at all. So the fact that they could actually nail down some of my ancestry to Friesland in the Netherlands based on not only the DNA of those people that match each other, but the fact that I'm also in that group and the commonality is the Friesland, that's amazing. So then, if you look, people from Friesland then migrated to certain places in the US or maybe to Australia. So you can then look at patterns of migration based from that original group and where it expanded to over time. So groups is another, I kind of think of as a layer on top of ethnicity. You've got ethnicity, which is broad, is not nearly as specific as people would like, not because MyHeritage has done a bad job, it's just the nature of ethnicity. But when you add trees and matching and genetic groups on top of that, then you can get more specificity. So I think of ethnicity as back further in time sometimes, and genetic groups as closer in time in terms of genealogy. I think maybe Diane said it's kind of the sweet spot, and it is. Now, are all your groups going to be there? Not necessarily, but I was able to then go in and filter my matches based on the Netherlands, and now that makes way more sense because now I've got this genetic group that's Friesland, and I can go in and look at the matches that are in the Netherlands, and it's a really big clue for me to be able to do that. I can also filter by ethnicity, and hopefully soon, it's one of my wish list things, is we'll be able to filter by genetic groups too. So they're just it's another tool, it's another layer, and none of these tools give you answers by themselves. They all need to be used in combination with each other. The trees, the tools, the ethnicity, the genetic groups, the matches, the triangulation, the clusters, they're all tools for us to use to reach the goal, whatever goal it is we have personally, whether it's to confirm an ancestor, whether it's to find an ancestor, whether it's to find unknown parents, whatever that goal is. These are all tools, and that's a wonderful tool. I love it. I've used it. I got all excited when I found Friesland and the Netherlands, and that's not, that immigrant was 4 generations back, and they came over 1862, I think. So it's
Wow.
not recent. It is quite, I mean, I knew about them, but to find all these other people in this group, it was just amazing to me. And now I've been able to go back because now I'm focused, right? That gave me focus. And now I've found at least 2 people in my match list that I was able to find a common ancestor with. So by, but if I hadn't seen Friesland and gone and used the filter and went digging in the trees, I wouldn't probably have found those. So I love it. It's a great tool.
Amazing. Thank you, Roberta. Now we have a question for James. James, are you there? Let's see. I'm going to bring you into the screen there.
Yep, we're here.
Hello. Okay. I had a question for you here about, I don't know where it went. It was just a question about the city directories. I don't have it here, but somebody wanted to know just a little bit more about the city directories. We just talked about it very briefly. So if you could just go into more detail about that release, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of these directories and entries. There's thousands of the directories and hundreds of thousands of entries. Basically, when you think of it, I mean, it's hard for someone who's quite young to even conceptualize what they are, because we used to have what were called phone books, and you would have this big paper phone book, and you would look up the names of your friends or whoever you needed to call, and there would be their telephone number. Well, before there were telephones, they still had the books, and those were the directories. They're called city directories. They were sponsored by commercial establishments, by subscription, so that there were ads all over the pages of all the pages. But they would go systematically through the city and to every address and identify the people who lived at that address. So from a genealogical standpoint, to have an index to those directories is just fabulous, because now all you do is put in the name of your ancestor and maybe the place where they lived and the dates, and you can and also on MyHeritage, you get record matches to these city directories also. So what you're doing is you're looking at that person, but then MyHeritage extended that, and they said, okay, now we're going to trace that same person through all the directories they appear. So now you have a chain of when you find one person, you have a chain of addresses of where they lived during the time they were in directories. It's not universal. Many of the smaller communities never had directories, and those directories have never found their way online yet, if they were in existence. But for large metropolitan areas like New York City and Washington and Chicago and Los Angeles and all those places, it is just a fabulous assistance to find them. It's always amazing to me because I was looking at trying to figure out where I lived when I was 8 years old. I lived in a small town, and then I moved to Salt Lake City. And I could remember the house, but I didn't remember the location. And I was able to find the address of not only my grandparents, but then the address of my aunt who lived close. And so I was able to reconstruct the neighborhood from actually going on Street View on Google, so I could see the streets and the houses. So here's a way you can even use another tool like Google Street View to use the directory to go see the place where they lived, the
Amazing.
Actual location. So I mean, this is it's just really fabulous, and to have this many directories completely searchable using record matches is just a godsend. It's lovely.
Wow, amazing to hear your personal experience finding your childhood home. Incredible. Have you visited it live?
Actually, we haven't gone much of anywhere for the last 9 months.
So, was that discovery? Oh, that discovery was this year, right? That
it was just since the directories, so since the advent of having to be able to look up an address. But it's been really interesting to see where people have lived, and I get comments from time to time, and one comment that I got recently was, I didn't know my parents lived there. I had no idea that's where my parents live. So, it's kind of more information. Now, the real important part from a genealogical standpoint is the location is what's important, because there will be additional records at given that location, because location opens up the whole treasury of records that may be available for a person when you know the exact place where they lived. You can also see if there's other relatives in that area. And one of the blog posts I did, I showed, and it may have been I do so many blog posts and so many presentations, I can't remember. But one of the comparisons is I found my father in a directory, and it tells his occupation at the time, which of course I knew. But right above it, 2 lines was a great uncle. And then that opened up a whole thing, because then that gave the company he worked for. And there were lots of different things that I could find from just those 2 entries. So it was really kind of an interesting thing, but they're really great.
Incredible. What a star collection of 2020. Really, really fantastic. Thank you, James. We have a question now for Thomas. Let's see if I can get Thomas up on the screen. I hear you. I just have to find your video to add it. One moment. Let's see. There we go. Okay, welcome. Thank you.
Sure.
We have a question for you, Thomas, from Chantil, and she asks, what is the best way to get other family members involved and to get them to provide information? We know that, sometimes there's one genealogist in the family and everyone else is a little more unwilling. So what's your advice for this type of a situation?
I think right now it's Esther, it's really based on visuals. If you look behind me, I've got my mixed tiles on the wall. I tell you, when people, not that they come in now, but when they see it on camera, like, what are those? And so I have to explain them. So if you have visual stuff you can share, and I don't mean family trees. The minute you pull out a family tree or send someone, they run like cockroaches. I'm sorry. They just don't, they're not interested, really. It comes down to, this is what I think is really the motivator. The family stories, recipes, photos. For guys, it's all about military ancestors. If you can focus in on a military ancestor, you've got all of your male relatives interested. So I think you really have to focus on the visual for bringing other people in. And then for DNA matches, I would use like MyHeritage to try and connect with other people. I just did a Facebook Live on trying to expand your family circle. And that's one of them as well.
Okay, fantastic. And I just see, see so many great comments in the comment section that I want to share with you all. I see Kathy, who says, thank you for putting this on. I'm so enthusiastic for what 2021 will bring. Us too, we're also really, really enthusiastic for 2021. I think that everybody has a lot to be excited for the end of 2020 and the start of 2021. Thank you, Thomas. We have a question now for Lisa. Let's see if I can get Lisa up here. We have a lot of guests, so it's hard to find everyone in the list. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
We have a question for you from Kira. She asks, will 11s with Lisa continue on in 2021 and beyond? It's my Thursday go-to.
Yeah. So Kira's talking about 11s with Lisa, which is a weekly YouTube live show, and it's Thursdays at 11 o'clock Central, whatever time that is for you. And 11s is actually traditional tea time. So we get together, we have a cup of tea, we talk about genealogy. And, when I first started, I had mentioned to everybody that we'll do this through COVID. But the truth is, I hope COVID ends really soon. And 11s will go on indefinitely. So yes, Kara, 2021, I've already got lots of things planned. I took a little bit of time off to help with my daughter right now, but we'll be jumping back in January. And as long as everybody keeps showing up, the live show is fun like it is here, because we're all getting a chance to visit in real time and chat and talk. So absolutely. And I hope those watching will come and check it out and join us. And if that time isn't good, you can watch the video. So we always have the video replay too.
Amazing. And for everyone in the audience, by the way, all of our speakers today, we're going to put links to all of their blogs and sites so you can go look into their content a little bit more. Thank you, Lisa. Now we just have a question for Maureen. Let me bring her up on the screen here. Here we go. Okay, Maureen, we have a great question for you from, let's see, from Kent. And Kent asks, I love the digital photo tools on MyHeritage. How do you view these tools and the results when photo detecting?
Oh, those tools actually make the clues pop. So one of my favorite examples is this really faded postcard that sits on my desk. And when I ran it through the enhancement and the colorizing tool, everything pops. You can see what everyone is wearing and what they're doing. And that helps with the photo detecting, because sometimes there's something in the background and you're just not quite sure what it is. Plus, with the enhancement and the colorizing, you can then blow the image up even larger and see some of those details. So all of the enhancement tools, the VividPix Restore tool, the MyHeritage tool, they work together beautifully. They each do something differently. You use them all together so that you can actually really see your photographs like you're looking at them for the first time, because we get used to the information in the picture and we don't see the details. We focus on who it is and we focus on the story, but by colorizing and enhancing them, it changes our perspective. So I think it's a key tool for photo detecting. Plus, I love those little icons in the corner that immediately say, this has been enhanced and this has been colorized.
Amazing. I think that we can really see so many different tools and features. It's very clear to see what the highlights were for all of our guests from the different areas. Just so many different things. I just want to bring on Daniel, our resident genealogist at MyHeritage. Hello, Daniel. What an interesting session we've had today with so many different discussions.
I just love to see all my friends, to hear their experiences, to hear their expectations, and to laugh because this is what genealogy is all about, right?
So Daniel, what are your reflections from 2020? We've asked all of our guests.
Well, I have to say, like, I'm going to put it under the title webinars, because that's how we used to call it. Now probably we'll know, what's that? Oh, it's a Zoom. Okay. Virtual meetings. Definitely. We went crazy. We moved fast and furious, and then we conquered that space. And I just remember my wife saying, what, you have another webinar now? And well, but you just had one. Well, yeah, sweetie, but you know, other places in the world, they also want to learn about genealogy. And I love to teach, and I really love to showcase all the possibilities and all what you can do with the MyHeritage tools and genealogy in general. Now it's a little bit slower, I would say, compared to the beginning. But I think that this is something that it's here to stay. Like we got all crazy at the beginning. We didn't know how to react to this quarantine and lockdowns and things. But we're all desperate in 2021, hopefully, to go back to in-person conferences. But the virtual component will remain probably forever. It's the only way to reach so much people as we're doing now, and to interact with them and to learn from them. Because if anybody out there thinks that just because anyone in this huge party today knows everything, that's totally wrong. We're always learning from everybody, and we will keep learning from everybody. So keep on with your comments, keep on with your questions. That only push us to be better and to research more.
Yeah, so just to echo what you said, I think a big theme of this year has just been adapting and moving forward despite everything that was happening. And my heritage, pretty much things continued as normal as usual. Lots of new features and products and lots of exciting things. And as well, we really tried to offer a lot of different record collections at different times and different features and different educational sessions, whether it be on the MyHeritage knowledge base, a lot of different content that's been added there, or the Facebook Lives, Daniel's Ask the Expert series, webinars, lots and lots of things that have been going on just to bring content to you at home, everyone who's spending more time at home. And we do hope to continue a lot of that educational content, despite the fact that we hope to get out and, as Daniel said, see each other in person over 2021. At some point, that is definitely our dream. So we hope to get there. I hope that all of our speakers will stay tuned. We'll just get everyone on at the very end to say goodbye. Before that, we want to give away our prizes for today. We have a MyHeritage DNA kit, a MyHeritage Complete Plan, and a MyHeritage gift subscription. So Daniel, should we choose the winners?
Oh, come on. Well, it's going to be impossible to choose, Esther. Like, my eyes just are scrambling over all those comments and questions, and so much people live here. And I know already a lot of new people that are saying, wait, why you're not advertising this? I never heard about these sessions. Oh, we have many, many sessions of this type planned also for 2021. Webinars, Facebook, as you said, as the experts, you name it, we will be there. But the comments also are great. So go ahead.
Okay, so our first winner of the MyHeritage Complete Plan is, let's see, Lynette Bates. And Lynette wrote us, the reason I specifically, congratulations. The reason I specifically tested with MyHeritage DNA was to find international connections. Fortunately, I was able to determine who my Swedish great-grandfather was through a DNA match in Sweden. My match answered my first email to him, had a tree online, knew how to do research, and was willing to help me. What more could you ask for? What a dream.
That's why we are doing this, exactly because of that.
And she wrote, we used Google Translate for our correspondence, and it has been an amazing experience for me. Incredible, Lynette. So congratulations. We'll be in touch with you through direct message to claim your prize. What an amazing story. And I think that just goes to show, we always say MyHeritage is the market leader for international family history with you know, people all over the world who have taken MyHeritage DNA kit.
Do you think that's related to the fact that we are available in 42 languages, Esther?
Maybe it has something to do with that. So let's see. Okay, and now we're going to give away MyHeritage DNA kit. Another very, very exciting prize. And this is going to Lean Athenis. And Lean, we will be in touch with you through private message. And your comment was, how did MyHeritage help me through 2020? I convinced 8 people from my family to do the DNA test. And now a lot of things have gotten clear and the family history is growing. Cannot live without it anymore. So Lean, you now have another DNA kit that you can send to the next family member. Congratulations.
You can never have enough of those. And very important, and everybody knows I say this, if you already have a DNA test with another company, you can upload it to MyHeritage for free. So don't wait to receive your DNA kit. Don't wait for another special prize. Just take whatever DNA test you did. And if you did multiple companies, upload all of them into MyHeritage and you will get all the features that we are offering.
Okay, fantastic. And thanks for pointing that out, Daniel. So true. As many people say, fishing in all the different ponds and just opening yourself up to many more DNA matches. So we have one prize to give away left, and that is the MyHeritage gift subscription. So it's really, you know, the holidays are a time of giving, and we recently came out with a MyHeritage gift subscription where you can choose to give a gift to a family member of the MyHeritage complete plan, and you can choose either a 6-month or a 1-year plan. You can even choose the date that you want to give it to them. So if you know, starting January, the beginning of the year, you can go through the list of all the birthdays in your family and, you know, go and give MyHeritage subscriptions as gifts and have them all delivered on the date of the birthday for each individual. So if you really want to take care of things at the beginning of the year, it's not a bad idea. So the winner of the MyHeritage gift subscription for this one user to give as a gift to a family member or a friend is Shelly Peckham Simmons. And Shelly wrote to us, I've used the color photo enhancement this year with a photo of my 2x great-grandmother and her sister when they were in their 20s. It came out so gorgeous that I actually had tears just looking at it. How I wish I could share it with everyone. Thank you for making 2020 bearable with so many of your Facebook Lives. So incredible. Thank you so much, Shelly. Such a great comment, and we'll be in touch with you through private message to claim your prize. And just so many of these comments have just been so incredible. So I just want to thank all of our viewers. I have had so much fun over 2020 joining you for all of these Facebook Lives. All of our viewers, all of our guests that have come to speak to us. It's just been so much fun for me. We've all learned so much together, laughed so much together, and it's really helped us overcome what has been a challenging year. So thank you all of our viewers and everyone out there. Daniel, I think we should say thank you to all of our speakers today. Should we get them on?
Definitely, one by one. Come on, bring them on.
Okay, so first we'll bring on Maureen. Maureen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we wish you a happy 2021.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Maureen. Thank you.
Lisa, let's see, we have Lisa here. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, what a wonderful way to end the year, seeing your two faces. It's so good to see you, my friends.
So we need to see more of our faces next year. So
I know.
Put it on the agenda.
Well, we'll hold you to that.
Awesome.
And now we're bringing on Thomas.
Hey, thank you so much. This has been so much fun and a great way to end the year. And I think that 2021 is when genealogy is just going to kick it. It really is.
So true.
We're pretty sure that you're going to be there to push it.
Probably, yeah.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Happy New Year.
We'll see you quite a lot in the coming year.
Thank you. Thanks.
Let's see. Who have we not seen? James. Let's bring James into the picture to say goodbye.
Thanks. It was really great. Enjoyed it a lot. We're looking forward. I know I'll see you online again in the short distance. I know we've already scheduled a Facebook Live for January, so I'd be really happy to be here and participate. So glad to see both of you are up and about.
Thank you very much, James, and keep the good work that you always do in your blogs and also in your missions.
Yes, thank you. Nice to see you, Dan.
And let's bring on Diane to say goodbye. Let's see, do you have Diane there in the...
There she is.
Hey guys, thanks so much. Always fun to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Diane.
And we hope to see a lot in the DNA world in 2021. So I'm sure we'll be talking quite a lot in the coming year.
I hope so.
And let's bring on Roberta to say goodbye. Hi, Roberta.
Hi, or bye. You know, it's been such a lovely thing to do for MyHeritage to do. And it's been great seeing you guys and also all the people who are commenting. And it's been a bad year, but it's been a good year. And this is always a great time of year for DNA because you know what's going to happen in like another month or 6 weeks because all these people who got kits for the holidays, their matches are going to start appearing. So, like, yeah.
So we're going to need you, Roberta. Stay around.
I'm not going anyplace. I can't.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. What an amazing group of guests, and we've just had such a great time. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our wonderful audience. And we have lots and lots of great Facebook Lives lined up for 2021. We can't wait to see all of you at each and every one of them. Thank you all. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Esther. And thank you, Marianne and Talia behind the scenes as well. This is just a teamwork, and the reason I think this comes out so good is because, as you said, Esther, we enjoy what we're doing. So just keep coming and keep asking me, and we will be here.
And Happy New Year, everybody.
Goodbye. Happy New
Bye.
Year. Choo!